Hey guys, in this video we're looking at formulas, and we'll start by evaluating them for some given values and then move into solving them for a given variable. So this first one, we're given this formula and a couple of the values and asked to solve for the a right here in the formula. So we'll go y is going to be 0, and then we have the a that we're solving for. X is 25, and then just copying down this, and then the plus 50. So if I simplify in these parentheses a little bit, I'm going to have 0 equals a 25 minus 20, so that'll be a 5 squared plus 50. And then squaring this, I get 0 equals, I'm going to write the 25 in front just because it looks better. And then I'll just scoot the 50 over to this side. And that gets me minus 50 equals 25a, and then I'll divide the 25. And so then a equals -2. These next couple are solving for an indicated variable, and so the same things we saw back in the last couple sections apply. We're gonna when we have multiplication, we're going to use division to undo it. When we have addition, we'll use subtraction, addition. So the same properties are in play here. It's just now it's letters instead of numbers. So here we're trying to solve for c. So what we want to do is, since a and b are multiplying, we're going to go ab, ab. And then a over a is 1, b over b is 1, so what's left here is our answer. And then a note about this, the computer is case sensitive, so make sure you do capital A, capital B. The other thing for typing this fraction, if you type that, it will read it as this, because that B isn't in the denominator. It's after the A, so it's going to interpret it this way. So if you want it to be in the denominator like this answer, it needs parentheses. Other than that, you could just use in the answer box, there's a yellow arrow, click on that, and it will give you a fraction template, and then you just put the D up there and the AB here, and it'll automatically put the parentheses where they go. For number 3, we're trying to get x by itself, and so I have a minus y, so I'll undo that with a plus, and a plus z, so I'll undo that with a minus. So plus y minus z, and then we get b plus y minus z equals that x all by itself, because those canceled. Okay, so these next examples are pretty much the same style as each other. So for this one, we're trying to solve for c right here. And so this 2b, it's a positive 2b, so just like all these other linear equations we've solved, we want to just subtract it over because it's being added. And so then we're going to have a minus 2b. And then these ones will cancel. That's going to equal 2c on this side. And then to finish getting c by itself, we want to divide out that 2. And that is a perfectly fine place to stop right here. Couple of things on this. One, math is case sensitive. I think I said that earlier, so make sure that you're using capital letters. 2, right here at the simplify, you don't need to simplify. If this had a 4, if the 2 went into both the coefficient of the a and the b, you'd have to. If I did try to write this, it would look like 1/2 a, and then I'd be able to cancel those, and that would equal c. But again, no advantage to doing all of this. You can just stop right here. But what I don't want you to do is to cancel the 2's and then end up getting it wrong because of 1/2. Cool, so this one's pretty much the same deal. So we're trying to get y by itself, so I want to subtract over that 7x. So we'll get that out of the way. So then those are gone. So now I got 2y over here. 14 minus 7x. I could write it in either order, but since it's negative, I'm throwing it behind. And then I'll just divide out that 2. And those reduce. And then that would be my answer. Again, same deal as over here. 2 goes into 14, 7, but then I'd have minus 7/2 that I still have as a fraction. So might as well just leave it here. This one looks maybe a little intimidating, but it's actually not too bad. I'm going to start, I'm trying to get y by itself, so I could just subtract the 4 over, but I got these parentheses going, so I think I will start by doing that first. So y plus 4 equals 1/2 x, and then half of 6 makes a minus 3 right there. And then to finishing the y by itself, I'll just subtract over this 4, and y equals 1/2 x minus 7. So these last 4 examples are ones that if you're in a lecture class, I would have you try. So this kind of matches up with the formula, the first one I did. So we're given a formula and some values and asked to find c. So we'll go, so this is d equals r minus c times t. And d is 60, so we'll put that right there. R is 10. C is what we're trying to figure out, so we'll do that. And t is 5. So I can either distribute the 5 or divide. I think I'm going to divide, but totally right to distribute also. Get you the same spot. So now my 5's cancel, and I have 10 minus c. And I'll scoot this 10 over. And careful not to lose that minus. So we end up with 2 equals negative c. So then multiplying both sides by -1, I get c equals -2, just to write it in the other order. This one, again, it looks kind of tough, but it's actually not at all. It's the same problem I just did a few times. So we're trying to get t by itself. That's right here. So this 16v squared is adding, so we just want to subtract it. So then that gets me to x and then minus 16v squared. Those cancel. So on this side I just have the vt. And I'm looking for t, so it means I want to divide out v. And then that would be it. Again, same thing with those v's on the canceling. It would have to go with the x, so I would stop right there. Okay, and then these are really similar to those last couple I just did. So solving for y, I will go minus 3x minus 3x for y, and then this is going to be 12 minus 3x, and then I'll just divide the 4 over. And then again, I would just stop right here. And then this last one, minus 4, so I'll distribute the 1/3 through. 1/3 of 9 makes 3, solving for y. So now I just need to add this 4 over. And y equals 1/3 x. Looks like plus 1. Cool, and that wraps up formulas.